Hello, everybody. I'm sorry that our all faculty evening was canceled yet again. I think there comes to a point where we have to realize that these winter meetings are just going to be canceled every year because of the snow and try to reimagine when we should do this training, if we should do it virtually or just plan to do that from the get go. But, anyways, I'm going to just take about 10 minutes of your time very quickly to share some information that you would have had to sit through maybe 2-3 hours of meetings to get. Now, the first thing, of course, that's on everybody's mind is enrollment, because enrollment equals sections, which equal employment and money. And when it comes to adjuncts class sections, that's the most important thing. Now, it's pretty obvious that history is facing lower enrollment. That's due to two main things. Class sizes have increased. So if you see numerous face-to-face sections going from 25 to 28 and they're completely filled, if that happens 3 or 4 times, I'd say we lose a section, okay? And if it happens 6 or 7 times, we lose 2 sections. So going from 25 to 28, you think about 3 students, and there's a certain amount of times that they're going to just be able to reduce the overall number of sections just from that class size increase. This is particularly true in online classes where there's a 25% increase from 20 to 25. We're definitely going to have to cut back on some of our online offerings. Now, history is no longer required. Students can take anthropology or geography to get the same credit, the same global credit as a history course. And of course, that's going to impact us. So I think we're going to lose several sections from that change as well. Overall, when we saw in the fall and the spring, we had to cut about 10. In the past, maybe it was, I wasn't really involved, but 3 or 4. So there is definitely a increase in the number of sections we're canceling, and we're also seeing sections with 7 or 8 students where we might see a lot more in the past. Now, what's our department? What am I doing about this? Well, I'm looking at the schedule ahead of time, and I'm offering fewer sections. We're going to cut back on online, obviously. We're going to cut back on non-prime classes, evening classes, afternoon classes, and also Friday is a problem as well. We don't see these classes going. So if there's a Wednesday-Friday class or Monday-Wednesday-Friday class or just a straight Friday class, we have to make some adjustments there because those are just not filling up. There was some open sections in early January, and there was some pressure to hire some new adjuncts, and in reality I just waited, and there was one example of an evening class that had several students, but I was able to cancel that because there was no staff teaching it, move those students into 2 adjunct classes that really should have been cut, and they were saved. So, the fact that we're not hiring new adjuncts allows us to keep some sections with our, long-time teaching adjuncts in place. So you might get more sections, but maybe one of those sections will be canceled, okay? The other thing is we really need to promote ourselves, and we need to promote our discipline. You hear students in the hallways talking about, take this teacher, take that class. So, if you could take history with Bianchi at, 12:30, or you could take a geography class. I want students to go to my class, to my history class, because of what they've heard about me. So you're not just going to sign up for, a prime class and just know it's going to go automatically. You have to talk it up with your students. A lot of times I've had family members, siblings take my class, or friends, or repeat students, and that's how we're going to get our enrollment up in our individual sections. And perhaps there's going to be a new future with the history department, maybe because of the rearrangement of what's required. Maybe we're going to have to merge with another discipline. Originally we were merged with political science, but that didn't work because we don't have a political science faculty member. Maybe we'll have to merge if we hire somebody that teaches geography with geography. Maybe that will be the new reality, 5 to 10 less sections of history, and we'll be kind of married with geography and working with them a little bit more closely. The second thing is data. We're going to need a lot more data. I don't really buy into this 100%. I don't know if this makes us better teachers, but that's the push in higher education. We need more data. And part of this is assessment. Now, I know you've heard this before, that we're going to be doing a global gen ed assessment, and we're going to also be doing course level assessment. That means that this semester, we're going to determine some small assignments, whether a paper or quizzes, that are going to be universal in all history sections. We'll be able to pull some data from that. So that's one thing that we're looking at this semester. What we're already looking at is vital signs. So this is live. This is something that we've been having to report on for years, but we've been just turning in the same reports for a decade, and nobody cared. And now that's not going to be allowed anymore. So there's three that really impact you. The IDEA survey, we want 85% of our classes better than the average. And I'm just using raw data because I don't know what the average is per se, but I'll get clarifications on that. But right now I'm just using the raw score. And then and we've gone obviously to online IDEA surveys, and that's skewed the results dramatically. So we'll be a little bit reluctant to use any information from just the fall. Withdrawal rates, we want less than 8.9% of students withdrawing. So if you're consistently, having 20% of your students withdrawing from your class, that's a big problem, and that's something that we'll have to address. And the rate of C or higher, we want 76.8% higher than C or higher, and that's called student success. So again, if it's one class, especially an online class or a lowly enrolled class, not a big deal. But if we see the semester to semester, there might be something that we need to talk about. All right. So how am I going to inform you of all this? Well, I got a Google form that I'm going to fill out. It looks like this. I'm just going to type it in. I'll say, I'm the adjunct here. What type of refresher training is required for this year, particularly in the spring? You need to do 3 refresher trainings, and I'll send you the link. And I'll say, I did all the training, it's completed. Canvas, this is stuff that you need on your Canvas. You need a syllabus, grade book, assignments. Well, needs assignments. He's using these, but the grade book is used, but there's only got 1 assignment in it, so I need to do that. Sections he taught in the fall, because I have the data for the fall. So, taught History 123, 901 in the fall. My idea were phenomenal. I got a 4.8 average. My overall rating was, 4.5. That looks good. C or higher, I have 90% withdraw, 20%. That's bad. Observations, NA right now. Actionable items. Well, there's some problems. You need to use Canvas for assignments. And work on the W rate, your withdrawal rate. So when I hire you for the next semester, that's what I'm going to ask you about. What did you do? Are you using Canvas for your assignments, and why did 20% of people withdraw from your class? Now what I'll do is I'll send this to myself. Hopefully this works. It was pretty tricky to figure this all out, but howardccd.edu, and then I'll submit. Boom. And what happens is it should come to Excel sheet. So I just completed this. This is the adjunct. All trainings completed. Need assignments in Canvas. Taught this class. My IDEA surveys. C or higher, 89%, 20% withdraw, and no observation. And then all this actionable item, which will be tracked. And I'll pass this, share this Excel sheet with Greg. He'll pull the data from Canvas and training to know how history is doing. Now what's also going to happen is you're going to get an email. So it's just going to come from my Gmail account, because that's what Google Forms is, Gmail. And so what the email that you'll receive looks like this. It says, Helen Bianchi, below is a summary of your vital signs and other relevant data for History 123, 901 last semester. Thank you. So what you see is the time. I don't know how to get rid of this username thing, but name of the adjunct, all training complete, needs assignments, some information here, and it says actionable items, needs to use Canvas for assignments and work on W rate. Got it? All right, if you have any questions, let me know. I'm going to be doing this in the next couple of weeks. Yeah. So